Hi, this is Jordan from Squats and Science, and I'm going to show you how to use the Analysis tab on the OpenBarbell app. So, first thing you do is open up the app and navigate to the Analysis tab, and you want to choose the exercise that you want to measure your 1 rep max or estimate your 1 rep max. So, I have here selected squat, but when you open up the drop down, you can choose anything that you've logged at least one good set of. Now, you'll see a few options here. Tags must include, tags to exclude. I'll show you a few examples in a little bit, but basically the way these work are you put the tags that you want to include here, and every data point that we show below must include that tag. Same thing with exclude, but opposite. Every tag that you want to exclude, you put in there, and then it'll show 0 sets that include that tag. Then you want to choose your date range. Your date range goes from 1 day, so if you collected all the data yesterday, then you want to put 1 day and exclude all the other data beyond that. Then if you put it down to 60 days, it includes all the data for the past 2 months. We don't go beyond 60 days because that data is so old that it's probably no longer relevant. For velocity at 1 rep max, we set that to the velocity that we think we can execute a 1 rep max. So for me, that's probably going to be around a 0.2. Now, if I go ahead and hit calculate, it'll populate some data. And we have some cool example data we can go through here to show you how to fix something that looks a little bit like this. Right now, unusable. It says R squared is too low, please clean up or log more data. So what we want to do is we want to take the instruction from right here and we want to tap a point to view and edit the data. First thing, let's look at this red dot. So the red dot, if we look at this set, it looks like ROM 2166. That's not a real lift, not a real squat. It was probably me taking the wire and attaching it to the bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete the whole set. And as you can see, there's a restore button there, so if you ever want to go back and change your mind, you can find that. Then I hit close. If I go up here, well, you'll see the red dot's still there. So you have to hit calculate. Every time you make a change, you have to hit calculate again. And the red dot's gone. So a little bit better. We're a little bit more zoomed in. We don't have that red glaring outliers. Now we have one more outlier, and it's not red. So what that means is our algorithms couldn't detect that this is for sure not a valid rep. So let's click that and see what's going on there. So as you can tell, everything looks real. 0.52, that's a reasonable velocity. All the ROMs look pretty good for a squat, but I don't squat 385 kilograms, at least not yet. So that was just an issue where I put kilograms instead of pounds. So what I want to do is just tap the kilograms to pounds and click. And again, recalculate. Much better. Okay, so now we have these two distinct trends here. Now that's curious. What are these two trends? Well, if I click the one on the left, so this looks like when I worked out with Elisa. So every time she did a squat, we tagged Elisa. What I want to do is, instead of deleting anything here, if we go back, I'll just exclude the tag Elisa. And again, let's hit recalculate. And now I have a projection. So this is telling me that I'm projected to have a 239 kilo squat at 0.2 meters per second. And that sounds, like a reasonable projection. Let's say I get ambitious. Let's say I do a really good grinder and I hit like a 0.15 or a 0.14. What does that tell me? Okay, well maybe if I can execute at a 0.14, I can hit 250 kilograms. Now, if my training hasn't been that consistent and my CNS adaptations aren't that great, let's bump that up to a 0.28. What does that give me? A 224. So if I fail at anything below 228, then it'll decrease my 1RM estimation. R squared is around 95%, which is pretty good. So if I want to take a look at these data points up close, let's say figure out what they are, I can pinch and zoom, get a little bit closer, take a look at this. Okay, that was a 315. What was that one? Okay, it's 140 squat. Zoom back out. And that way, if dots are really close together, you can play with them. If I want to dig into this data a little bit more, you'll notice that there's some light blue dots and some dark blue dots. So if we zoom in, there's a vertical line of dots here. Each one represents an individual set. But not all sets are equally as important for our estimation. So either this top blue dot is the most recent or it's the fastest. You'll notice this other line to the right, maybe not quite the same exact weight, some of them probably in pounds, one of them was in kilos, but our algorithm detected that the dark blue dot here, for some reason or another, was most applicable to our 1RM estimation. If you ever have any questions about that, scroll up to the top and you'll see this question mark. Tap on the question mark and it'll give you a lot of information about what the E1RM tab is about, what the E1RM estimation is about, and it'll give you a couple links. How does this algorithm work, and how can I get the best results? So if you tap how does the algorithm work, it'll bring you to a few flowcharts of decisions that the software makes to use the most applicable, most accurate, most recent data. And you'll find those links down here as well. And you'll see that black plus on the line. So that is where your 1RM is on the regression, and that's based on obviously your regression line and the velocity that you specify above. So if I change that to 0.12, my 1RM estimation goes way up and the dot goes way down. So at the bottom you'll see this card, how to calculate 1RM from a single session. And this is a protocol that's based on applicable research that allows you to calculate your 1rep max from zero data and get it done in a day. You can read it here, essentially just record your warm-ups all the way up to 90%, and it can estimate for you with the most recent data. All that from one day. That's a pretty good, pretty accurate way to estimate your 1rep max. And that's the analysis tab on OpenBarbell. If you like these videos, make sure to hit subscribe. We'll be updating this playlist with more OpenBarbell how-tos. So if you like using your OpenBarbell and you have a few questions that you maybe don't have answered, that's where the information will go.